Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Will.
Good morning to all of you.
Welcome to Games for Breakfast, the only internet talk show. We talk about this week's gaming and tech news, but I have a bounty to put out. That's right, Will. Pull up the first graphic. Thank you. I am trying to platinum Returnal, which is a wonderful game that I cherish and love with all of my soul. I have 3 ciphers left to do. If you don't know what it is, you can feel free to look it up if you'd like. But here's the problem I ran into, Will, as I was running my umpteenth, I believe I checked, I have 147 hours in this game. I need to get 3 more things that are randomly generated. In the second biome of Returnal, there is a glitch where if you actually bought it early enough before they patched it, it might not count one of the ciphers towards your platinum trophy. And so the bounty that I have for everyone who is interested in helping me out is this. I've been researching this. If you want, you can message me over on Blue Sky with any way you've found to fix this bug, because the thing that has come up to me the most, and I refuse to do this, and I cannot do it before Soros releases, is to start over. This is my bounty request to all of you. I'm sorry I took over the but also segment, but I am furious. I learned this at 1 a.m. last night, and I am really, really mad.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I'd appreciate the help. Also, hey, Lazarus, hold on, where'd you go? We're excited you can catch this live. Thank you so much for hanging out this fine Monday morning. Will, how are you? You know how I am.
I'm doing better than that, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I'm awake now. I wasn't expecting that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. FanFest is this weekend.
Nice.
And I'm flying out on Thursday and very excited. Speaking of flying out on Thursday, and we'll take this moment at the top of the show to let everyone know there is no design club this Thursday because I will not be near my computer. No near Puda means no design club. There will also be no breakfast next Monday because I will be flying home. So,
like an eagle.
Yeah, this will be the last time you see our faces on the tubes of you until next Thursday. Not this Thursday.
But there's a bunch of stuff on Twitch if you'd like to keep hanging out there this week.
Yep.
Also, I will say this. If I'm going to go back to the Returnal thing for a second, I'm committing to this. If your lead leads me to not having to restart Returnal and finding the last one in the Crimson Wastes, I will send a Zoe plushie to your house. I will do it. Okay. We'll talk on either Blue Sky or here or somewhere. If it's basically that thing you see, like, if your information leads to blah, 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 you can do whatever. I need this done, and I need it done before, the 28th?
Yep.
Just throwing that out there.
Yep.
I forgot. I was like, why did I call it a bounty? I had an idea. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Also, I like this. Next season of Abolish Everything. Abolish bugs that permanently lock you out of getting platinum trophies.
I wonder how many people that has affected. I probably not as many as you'd think. The other thing is truly, I don't know how true this is. Like, the problem is in this game, if you're not familiar, these things I'm hunting for, it's totally RNG based. It's a tile system because it's a roguelike, and it spawns it when you start your run, right? So I've marked down all 20 rooms that these things can possibly be in, and I think I've seen them all. But then some people are like, oh, maybe if you reinstall the game, maybe if you do this, like this. So that's my next try. But anyway, I don't want to derail too much. I've already yelled enough. We have a lot to talk about today, Will.
We do. Oh boy, do we ever. The first thing that we have to talk about, before we begin, we're going to need you for reasons of think of the children, to verify your age with your operating system and then use that to verify your age everywhere. Hopefully
if you could just do that like real quick.
Yeah, just like how hard
we can't legally keep going with the show.
Right.
Until we know every piece of information that we can sell from you.
Right.
That's kind of where we're at.
Won't you think of the children?
So if everyone would just in compliance with the upcoming what the hell is it even called again? The Parents Decide Act
HR 8250.
Which I believe is in the House of Representatives being overlooked right now, or was introduced into the House by two representatives, Representative Josh Gottemer, Democrat from New Jersey, and Representative Elise Stefanik, Republican from Nueva York. Yeah, so, Will, why don't you break down why we're talking about government policy on a show that we have fought tooth and nail to make sure that when we talk about video games, it stays completely non-political.
Right. Yeah, it's super non-political.
I'm gonna
actually,
make my
that might
coffee
be the
and
sub
scowl.
theme. That might be the sub theme for this week. Okay. So the text of the bill is as follows. There's a requirement. An operating system provider with respect to any operating system of such providers will carry out the following. Require any user of the operating system to provide the date of the birth of the user in order to set up an account and use it. If the relevant user of the operating system is under 18 years of age, require a parent or legal guardian of the user to verify the date of birth of the user. Develop a system to allow an app developer to access any information as is necessary collected by the operating system to carry out this section and any regulation promulgated under this section to verify the date of birth of a user of an app of the app developer. So this is a new law that's currently in committee in the House of Representatives to make it so that anything with an operating system, and console users don't feel smug, your console has an operating system.
It sure does, Will.
So does your phone.
It sure does, Will. My French press doesn't.
Your French press,
Yet.
doesn't. Right. So they want you to need to verify your now. Okay, we should be clear. Currently, as it stands, it could ask you. It could say, "What's your birthday?" And then you put it in, and that's the end of it. But we know that's not what's going to happen. This is an excuse. This is an excuse to do something really stupid in the name of, but won't someone think of the children?
I mean, Grant brings up a great take that we put up here. Was basically like, what about public libraries and school systems and all that stuff? Now, again, this is so early. It is under review and all of that stuff, but it is making headlines and waves because it would quintessentially change the way that every piece of hardware that operates on an OS would be regulated by the U.S. government.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out, at its core, what this act is trying to do is put more safety regulations in for children online, or at least that's what it's positing itself to do. The core contradiction that I feel is that it's pretty much parents already have the legal authority to control what their children access. Like,
Correct.
It's already there.
Yep.
So
What are we doing here?
Oh, are we doing performative work so we don't have to do real work? Are we also, with the way that this bill or whatever is set up, this proposal, I mean, like, tell me that you don't know how computers and the internet works without telling me you don't know how computers and the internet works. Like, it makes no sense. You brought up a great question too, like, or I think it was you that you posited, like, so this would mean that every computer has to be online now.
Oh yeah, that is a consequence. I didn't bring that up when we talked about it, but that is a natural consequence of this. Is that in order to do this, you would have to have access to a verification server at all times, but completely ignoring the fact that there are computers that are offline, right? And like, by the way, this doesn't make a provision for computers that can't go online. So like,
it doesn't do much of anything. Like the thing right now, it's just like, hey, we're going to do this. And if this passes, the FCC has 180 days to figure out how to make it work. And then compliance with all tech companies would be a year after the date that it was signed into law.
Which let's just pause real quick. So it's 180 days to find out what the regulations are, but a year from the date the law passes. So you have half a year. You have half a year to set up, implement, and push out to every operating system in the country the ability to do age verification for every account. You
vibes code it, man. Like,
yeah,
just,
right. How hard could it be, right? It's just like some code. Code's easy. My grandson codes, right? Like, this is stupid. This is very, very stupid.
It's performative. It's a waste of time. If it passes, it will be so mired in nonsense that no amount of parents deciding and actually that also means that parents aren't deciding. Like, sorry, I just kind of realized the optimal naming convention of this. It actually means that
correct.
It's taking the decision away of how to do things for your child away from parents.
Yes, that's correct.
Should be called the Parents No Longer Have to Decide Act.
Right. So those are just some of it. Okay, so let's just to briefly recap. 1, this is never going to happen in a good way, right? 2, the timelines presented in the bill make it abundantly clear that they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? They want to put into law time frames that make no sense, okay? And then let's just address just real quick. So there is private information, your age. Now, it could simply be a binary check, which is the smart way to do it, but so no one's going to do it that way. There's a piece of information that now an app can request from your operating system. And your operating system has to give it to it under this law. Right? Okay, cool, great, awesome. So now any app can request private information from your operating system, and by law, your operating system must provide it. Cue screaming. Just endless screaming over the inherent stupidity of this.
You know what's so interesting, too, on the corpo side of this, where companies might be pushing for this to help get more data, right, from personal computers about people they want to sell things to or do whatever. Under the way that this is written now, it's not just you, large company, who's lobbying. It's literally like if it was 100 years ago, Winamp could do this. Like, yep. And if every company has every piece of data on everyone, no one has a competitive edge anymore.
Correct.
That's like the dark reason why it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what they're going for will actually not even work if it does.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, and remember, like, we're not even being logically or morally consistent here, right? Because the government was screaming about TikTok having backdoor access to people's computers. But now they want to begin the process of putting a thing in your computer, right? Because, like, do we honestly think it's going to stop here? Like, do we believe that once your computer has a file on each user that it must provide to an app on request, that it's going to stop with your birthday? Right? Like, so theoretically, it is possible to exist in a world where your age is verified without verifying your identity. Theoretically.
I also just really appreciate in this dark story how Winamp is taking over some of the chat, and I just want to say thank you for that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, right. So, my worry is that eventually this is going to turn into, like, I don't know how many people are familiar with this. It's called a prox card. It's a system that's used by the federal government to have computers lock out. You may be familiar with them in medical context, but essentially it's a unique ID card that you have to use to access a computer. And, like, feels like we're starting to get to that point where, like, you have to digitally verify your citizen ID number. And, like, maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic for the sake of illustration, but, like, this is not a good precedent to set at all.
Well, the precedent is the precedent is you don't need precedent. Like the precedent is you can you can find a air quotes problem and pitch that, hey, companies, solve this. Hey, everyone, do it by this time. And then companies, whether they think it's a real problem or not, then are legally bound to do so, which inevitably, even in the best case scenarios, will make all of their product work worse because it's solving for a problem that doesn't exist and taking resources away from problems that do exist.
Yeah.
It's a net lose for individuals. It's a net lose for the companies. It's a net lose for the government. But it in my opinion, it is the same kind of performative BS that essentially people with however long their terms are like, we're going to get something done. And since they can't do anything real or have any actual good ideas to help their constituents, they come up with an imaginary boogeyman that they can pretend to have solved. And then by the time it actually comes back to bite anyone in the ass, they're out of their office.
Yeah, correct.
Rinse, repeat.
Yeah. Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So what can we do, Will? What can be done here?
So if you're in the U.S., you could find out if now I want to be very clear about where this is at. This is once again this is HR 8250. It is currently a House bill, a House resolution. It is currently in the Energy and Commerce Committee of the House of Representatives, so you can find out if your representative is on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and you can pay attention, right? That is kind of a weird thing, right? Is that there will come a time where if this makes it out of committee, it comes up for a vote in the House, and you can call your representatives and be like, don't vote for this, don't vote for this, because it's got bipartisan backing, right? Which means that like every individual vote will matter, right? Because I don't think they're going to be able to whip the votes on both sides of the aisle for this. I strongly suspect this, and it may die in committee. If we get enough people on the House Energy and Commerce Committee to say that this is a stupid idea, then it'll die in committee and we won't have to worry about it anymore, and that'll be the end of it, right? But for now, paying attention to it, calling your representative and finding out if your representatives on that committee are the big three things. I'm
seeing if I can find the representatives.
Yeah.
If we can find them, we can
Yeah. And Zip is right. Notes. If you don't have a rep on the committee, pick one of them and call them anyway. True.
Right.
And call them. Do call them, right? Because you can ignore an email, you can ignore a letter. It's really hard to ignore the phones ringing constantly.
Unless they hang up.
Yeah. Oh, hey, cool. Braston has it. Thank you, Braston. It's a big committee. Well, that's big.
Yeah. It's like, I'm looking at it right now. It's like 60 people, or more, but there is a one Republican to make it a Republican majority.
Yep.
There it is.
It's a very large committee. Do call people. So yeah. That's where we're at. Now, we thought we would turn that frown upside down.
Oh, that's right.
And we would ask all of you for some help.
Right, because now that it's very clear that the government doesn't know how the internet works or how age verification works or how even any kind of legislation to actually do any protecting of children would even function, we thought it would be quite a good idea for everyone in chat, both in Brad and Janet, at Twitch and YouTube, and feel free, Nebula folks, if you'd like to message Will or I on Blue Sky, send us your late entries to this. But I would like you to essentially verify your age right now, however you would think would be a great way to do it. Like, for instance, earlier on my Blue Sky post, I said, please verify your age by letting me know which Nicktoon you're familiar with. Yep. Right? What are other incredibly, let me be very clear, incredibly stupid but just as effective ways to verify your age online?
Yeah, this is good. I used Winamp unironically.
Yeah.
My first VoIP app was Ventrilo.
Great.
Yeah,
great.
This is really good. Oh wow, this is very good. I watched Victoria's growing up on Nick. Okay, cool. I got I still own a tube full of Pogs.
That's it.
Nice.
Mila still remembers Mario Paint, the old one, not the new one on the Switch 2.
That's good. Stewards imitates the sound of a 56K modem. Good. Good. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Great.
My neon windbreaker.
Yep. 3.5-inch floppy disks that you inserted into the A drive. These are nice. Yep.
I used TeamSpeak to play MMOs.
My Minecraft account.
There we go. There we go.
Yep. These are so good. Some of these are really great, chat. You're popping off.
I'm as old as the OG Dune movie.
I like Annie's. My mom got mad at me for picking up the phone when she was checking her email.
My high school diploma is older than some of my kids' teachers. Get off my lawn.
These are great.
Wait, zip disks for my college thesis storage.
Amazing. I have motor memory of blowing on Super Nintendo cartridges.
Oh my god. Wait, I would play Super Metroid at a Toys R Us for 5 minutes before it would reset.
These are great.
I saw Free Willy in theaters.
Amazing. These are so good. My 50-person Skype call, also excellent.
I have an iPod and a shoebox with music downloaded from Napster.
Yeah. I will not show you a photo of myself, but I will hold up a copy of DuckTales for the Nest to the webcam.
That's good. That's great. I was excited to get a 256 megabyte USB drive.
I have a 512 meg thumb drive that I found from my time in high school.
Oh,
I remember when Han shot first.
Wow.
Very nice.
Oh my God, this is great. I kept Beanie Babies in boxes for their collector's value.
Yeah.
I had to upgrade my computer to 8 megabytes of RAM to play Dark Forces.
I still have a 1080p monitor. Where is this? I once owned a Furby unironically.
There we go. There we go.
It's good.
I still have a VHS copy of the first Pokemon movie. Right.
Yep.
Good.
This is excellent. Yep.
I
that
feel
was
like my cackling summoned Zoe. Let's see if she'll come up here. She hasn't put on her work clothes yet. Nope, she's leaving. Never mind. Well, she'll get it when she comes back.
Oh, my face hurts laughing.
My God.
But like, we gotta do some. We gotta do more stuff like this, right? Because like, this is on its face and through stupid. It's
nothing, and truly, like the joke, like everything that everyone has listed, and thank you again for doing so, is literally just as effective as the vaporware version of an act that these people are putting forward.
correct.
And that should say something.
Yeah, and I think it does. I really do think that it does. So we'll be paying attention to this. I think this is the big deal. And again, it is in a world where everything has an operating system. I did see some very salient comments before. Am I gonna have to tell my fridge how old I am? Your fridge has an operating system.
Yeah.
If you have a smart fridge, right? Am I gonna have to tell my car how old I am? My car has an operating system. Everything, right? Like it is so incredibly silly and short-sighted and does not work this way. So our sincere hope is that this gets defeated. Like it's not even, and like, God, we're gonna leave this alone a little bit, or I'm gonna get my dander up. But like it is both ethically silly, right? Because now you're creating a point of failure where people can get their information stolen out of their operating systems. Like we already tell people, like how, God, okay, wait, hold on. How many of you, by show of hand or hype or checkmark or upvote emotes, were told as a kid to never tell anyone how old you were on the internet? How many of you got that speech about like not telling anyone on the internet anything about yourself? right? Like, and now, and now, the government says you must tell anyone who asks how old you are on the internet. Make it make sense.
Zoe, can you make sense with it? Nope.
I got, don't use your real birthday. Yeah. Right. Always say 13F, Callie, when a stranger asks.
I don't know.
Oh, the old jokes.
The old jokes that they check out.
Yeah, right. Like I don't know. So like it's a bad idea on the like spreading information. It's a bad idea from a technical perspective, but it's a bad idea from implementation. This bill just sucks. Like I don't think there's another way to put it. There's nothing good about this bill. Even if you believe that there is legislation which could protect children on the internet, and I'm willing to entertain that conversation in good faith another time, I think we can all agree this ain't it, right? That this just makes it like worse. This just makes the internet worse for no gain for anyone. Literally no one gains from this. So, we have fervent hopes that this gets defeated in committee, or that it gets shot down in the thing, or that the Senate saves us, or that something else stupid happens and everyone loses this bill.
And it makes it so clear too, because like the solutions here, like as Will just sort of said, like maybe there is a solution somewhere else. Yeah, I'm sure there is. I bet you that solution is infinitely more complicated than pretending you can wave a magic wand and fix it with one decision. Like it's infuriating because so much of and it feels like it's by design, but a lot of times I just feel like it's laziness that then causes the bad things. Like you could, in a more sane world, put more money and resources towards education from a young age, and even for some adults about the sort of essentially like the dark sides of the internet, how your information is being used, what you can do to protect yourself, what to look out for. Encourage programs of ways that parents can teach their kids these sort of things in an early education, like work with their earlier schools and have a rather than just throwing an iPad in front of somebody and picking a god and praying, like you could actually have things in place to help those conversations and that education happen. And in a perfect world, it would go beyond this, but it would cause the systems to collapse. I'm still furious how in most United States school systems, there is still not a class on how credit actually works in the country, how to do your taxes, how to essentially live an adult life. You just sort of are expected to pick it up along the way. I know some places have it, and it's more than when I was in school. But a lot of the issue I feel like comes from not solidifying those types of critical pieces of education that keep people moving in a forward momentum in a positive way. And I don't think abdicating responsibility for individual children to the people that have proven time and time again they have no interest in actually protecting them, aka corporations, is going to actually solve any problem, real or imagined.
That seems correct to me. Yeah. No, I like this one. Why does the government instead sponsor education programs in local public libraries for parents on how to protect their children online? I have bad news for you. Government doesn't really like libraries. It doesn't really like libraries because the people who pay them a lot of money don't really like libraries. But you're correct. If you want resources on how to do things on the internet or in life, go to your local public library. It is probably one of the best places in your town that you're not going to enough that you should be going to more. Because and most librarians, by the way, awesome as hell. Librarians are dope.
Frick Heels brings up a great point, and this is actually part of the issue, I think. Also, parents just won't go for the most part. You're not wrong. But what you do, and again, this is why I said I think that an actual solution is far more complicated than just flipping a switch, is you have to slowly but surely change the way that in the ether, in the meta game of life, all of this stuff is accepted. You make it more normalized, you make it more engaging, you figure out a way to do it, and slowly but surely more and more people will. Of course no one's going to go now, because all of those programs, if they ever existed, are completely underfunded, and there's no way of actually getting hype up to have it happen. Like that's why I think that like tons of small steps. I hate to bring it into, no, I don't, because the guy's awesome. Zoran Mamdani, my wonderful, wonderful mayor at this point, is kind of just showing how it gets done on a micro level for one city. He has a bunch of larger policies. Hell, the tax plan he just passed for people who own second homes that are valued in over $5 million in New York City now have a much higher, not even that much crazier, just a higher income tax they have to pay. These are for people that don't live in New York and don't actually really provide any value to it other than raising the profit margins and the skyrocketing rent and all that stuff. But there's also, he's fixing potholes. He's doing bike lanes. He's showing that a system that has been rotting for years can actually work in small ways to better the communities that they're supposed to support. And when you do that, and when people who are disillusioned with the system start seeing someone is doing that, then they get more interested in that system. We are seeing a snowball here, and it's really lovely to see. And I truly believe that that could be the case for every problem like the one we're talking about in this story. But it takes someone who is crazy charismatic, has a ton of time and energy, and gives a shit. And I'm sorry, but most of the people in, I wouldn't say most of the people, but I don't believe that the two people who wrote up this bill and brought this forward have any of that.
I agree.
And it's funny because we're seeing it work sometimes in small ways, and I hope that even cascades into looking at large problems like ones to protect kids on the internet and changing the methodology of how we attack a problem like that. Yeah. Because the only way it's going to be fixed is through small incremental bits of change, not, hey, what if we told Google to find out how old everyone is?
Yep, 100%.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm ranting a lot today. The Returnal things really got me pissed too.
No, I think this is one of the things that I think this is like really important. I think for both of us, for like a variety of reasons, to like really stand up and say, "Boo, this sucks!" Like, just like loudly, without any reservation, "Boo, this bill sucks!" Right? It just sucks. There's no excuse. It's a bad bill. Vote it down.
We don't like putting like just saying like something sucks in a thumbnail title unless we like unequivocally just believe it. Like there's a certain level whenever you do either live shows or any videos on the YouTube, like you're supposed like it's only clickbait if it's not true.
Right.
And this act sucks like through and through, rotten
like,
to the core.
We can't like if it genuine, truly genuine. If you could tell me one good thing about this bill, like as written, and not like it's getting everyone to recognize that like Congress doesn't have any idea how to legislate the internet kind of thing, right? Like I will be shocked because it's just bad. It's just bad all the way. So you should know about it. And of course, the other important thing is if you're not in the US, this will probably end up affecting you, right? Because part of the problem is they're either going to split the user base, right, inside and outside the US, or there's going to be some kind of trickle-down effect where the US and the GDPR get in a fight, which has been brewing for a while. But, you know, right. And apparently the Brazilians are saying that it's already coming to Brazil, that this idea is already present in action in Brazil. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's not do this. It is a terrible story. All right.
Side note, I named it this because have you seen the thing going on for the second Spaceballs movie? In the original Spaceballs, they were supposed to be called Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. And now at CinemaCon, Mel Brooks came on and they did a thing about the sequel to Spaceballs. and how Mel Brooks is like, it's not going to be called The Search for More Money because I found it. It's right over here. And it just says a bag full of cash. It says Spaceballs, the money. And now the second Spaceballs movie is going to be called Spaceballs, the new one. So now you're caught up on this particular graphic about Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah. Yep. So I love this. Spaceballs, the chat message.
The chat message.
Okay, so there's been a whole bunch of chatter about the changes that are coming to Game Pass. Game Pass, Asha Sharma, who is the new CEO of Xbox, has been on the record saying that Game Pass has become too expensive for players. Probably true. The big one is that, okay, so do you remember the initial pitch for Game Pass? The initial pitch for Game Pass was you could get a bunch of games and you could get a bunch of titles the day that they came out as part of your Game Pass subscription. And the current scuttlebutt rumor is that they're considering not putting this year's Call of Duty on Game Pass as a day one release.
It's almost like it's just not profitable to do that, Will.
Yeah. I don't...
So they're trying to think of it. I don't know if they have the full plan yet. They want to move it into more a, quote, flexible system. There's talks of them. There was something that they said, God, where is it in this IGN article? And I don't know what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but IGN lately has been having like pop-ups pop up over their pop-ups and then pop up over the ads. And so every time I think I have like, I've moved to the part of the article where I now can reference this. Now it's a commercial for a refrigerator with an AI assistant. And now I'm just like, cool, man, great. But the idea that I was trying to find was they were talking about maybe doing a tier of Game Pass that only included Xbox exclusives. To which I say, what Xbox exclusives?
Yeah, it's a great question, Matt. They would like you to ask the next question now.
I don't know. I have no further questions. Right. This is my life now.
Yep.
Look, I think we can all agree. I imagine. Actually, you know what? I won't just speak for all of you. Does anyone in chat right now believe that Xbox Game Pass, the highest tier, is a good value?
Because, like, I can see a world where someone believes that. I don't.
I can see a world that someone believes that too. I think that for some consumers, it absolutely is, but it's not sustainable for Xbox.
No, not at all. I genuinely don't even know what it has. Xbox doubled the price in Brazil.
Well, they doubled it everywhere. Well, no, 50% of it everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I guess doubled it in Brazil.
Used to be, but isn't now. Only if you want or need all the stuff included. Otherwise, nope.
So, Ramian, the thing is, and I don't have an Xbox, can't say, they don't need, everything's an Xbox, Ramian. Don't you remember? You could do this on your litter box or whatever. No, you can do it on your PC, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your TV.
Yeah. Have a look back to cancel my subscription for what they did, the Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm,
yep. Yeah. All right, cool. So it seems like everyone's on the same beat.
So I think everyone is in agreement with the current CEO of Xbox, Asha Sharma, who is correct. It is not. It needs a more flexible system because it's become too expensive for players.
Yeah,
I think that also. I mean, that's the correct thing, but then from her company side of it, I can't imagine like they wouldn't be saying that if it wasn't also making them money. It's too expensive and therefore they're losing money, right?
Yeah. I mean, with Tyler on this, Microsoft, Xbox Game Pass is now too expensive for consumers. Also, Microsoft doubles the price of Xbox Game Pass.
To be fair, that price doubling, it's very funny. Tyler, I agree, it's funny. But to be fair, as much as we can to Microsoft, who definitely needs it, they did announce that well before Mrs. Sharma was put into the CEO role. So that could be old guard doing that and trying to, plug holes in the boat. And maybe, I mean, I don't think you become CEO of a company and say our flagship product is too expensive and have that be her thing beforehand. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless it's all part of the game.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, we shall indeed. Let's move on to some good news, some interesting news. You may recognize some, or many indeed, of the faces in this picture. Wizards of the Coast has announced a new Dungeons & Dragons actual play series. And you might be like, but Will, there are so many actual play series. Dear friends, we have special reason to tell you all about Dungeon Masters, the new actual play series from Dungeons & Dragons, featuring such talents as Neil Newbon. And that is, you may recognize the Dungeon Master.
The Dungeon Master proper.
Yeah.
Our wonderful friend Jasmine, that bronze girl Bular, who has written for EC, who's been on a bunch, who's run games for us, who's done Dimension 20 Coffin Run, one of my favorite things over there, who was just on the critically acclaimed Katie Mirovich vehicle, Dimension 20 on a Bus, and who is also the narrative lead on Fading Echo, which is a wonderful indie game you should check out and wishlist right now if you already have not. I am so, I'll use my one for the day, fucking happy about this. The cast is stacked. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. The actual trailer does look sick, and I cannot believe it's taken D&D so long to sort of get on the bandwagon of the thing that would not exist without them. And I am so happy that someone like Jasmine is at the helm of it, because it makes me believe in it. I mean, that's kind of it. Like, I mean, I've seen how she runs games. I've been in the games, and I don't know. I'm incredibly proud of her, and I'm incredibly proud that this project is coming to fruition, because with her involvement, I know it will be fire. That's just kind of it. And it's so rare. It's so rare you can say, oh, because my friend is doing this giant thing, it's going to work and be awesome. And I can say with no shadow of a doubt that is the case here.
If you want to see a truly amazing game run by Jasmine, I highly encourage you all to go back on, I believe it's on the History channel.
It's on History.
It's on History, but you can find it. She ran a game of Vampire the Masquerade.
It's a charity reward for a stream.
Yeah, which was so incredibly fun. That's how we met Dreamwisp, right? We met Jen Kretschmer through that game. Also an amazing talent in the TTRPG space. But that game was so incredibly fire, and the way that Jasmine told the story in like 4 hours, I cannot wait to see what she does with an entire series. I'm so hyped for this.
And also, I haven't met. The only other cast member I've met is Mayana Baron, which me, Jasmine, Mayana, and Iffy at Unplugged did a 1 hour one shot as a panel. And Mayana was an absolute delight. She is, if you don't know, the voice of Coop in and one of the writers, I believe, on Dispatch. Mm-hmm. So everyone at this table is an absolute MVP, and I believe, so it comes out on the 20th, I believe. Is that today? The 22nd, maybe? Today is the
20th. Also, in case you haven't...
22nd. Comes out on the 22nd.
Yeah, in case you
on
can't
D&D's
see
YouTube
or don't recognize the other players are Devor Wild, who is the voice of Lae'zel, Neil Newbon, who's the voice of Astarion, and Christian Navarro, in addition to Mayana Baron and Jasmine Bular.
Yeah. Also, Tyler, I do see that you mentioned how, where did it go? That Variety sort of worded it in a certain way about like it being the first D&D actual play. I think what they mean is D&D's first actual play. I'm sure that is a type, but and again, you got to remember, Variety type headlines are not meant for, especially in my opinion, like nerdy stuff, are not meant for those already in the know. It's trying to get out the generalized thing as quickly as possible, but that is inaccurate. You are correct.
Yeah. Also, people bringing up like tossing out Critical Role. No. This is them wanting to have their own thing in-house. I think they recognize that they can't. Critical Role is its own thing now. Like that is past anyone's ability to control. It is on its own trajectory, doing its own thing, and I think while everything in the industry will be in conversation with the idea that Critical Role exists for as long as it exists, I think there is plenty of space for other things and other DMs in other styles to do other stuff. And this group does have advantages, right? Being first party with WotC means that they get all the cool toys early. Right?
And I believe they're from what I understand, at least from the articles that I've read about it, the game that Jasmine is running, there'll be pieces of that you can also download like while it's going on, so you can run small elements or something like that,
which is really cool.
And here's the like, I feel like in my humble opinion, D&D should have jumped on the actual play bandwagon officially and gone as hard as they're going here ages ago. They didn't. They should, way back in the day, possibly should have partnered with Critical Role or even D20 or something, right? Like, but like that just never happened due to, I think, the corporate structure of WotC and Hasbro. And that means that they're going to move slower. The interesting part here is I am incredibly hopeful, again, due to who is controlling it, that this wait will be very much worth it and be good for the game, for actual plays, and to give different a different group of people a platform to do this at literally the highest level, running with the game itself.
I also want to just. This is a thing I think a lot of people don't know. This is not their first actual play.
No.
They have tried other actual plays before with other groups, and those have had a variety of problems, not the least of which is that most of them were online games.
Yeah.
Using either Theater of the Mind or digital tabletop.
This is a table and a set, and
right.
They put, this has production value behind it.
This is them actually ponying up to do it well. Right?
Actually, you know what I'll say? Weirdly enough, to Will's point, what an actual play has been elevated by countless peoples in the TTRPG community, but the forerunners are at this point. Now I'm not going to talk about like podcast specific ones, but really Critical Role, Dimension 20, right? Yeah. Like those are the two, and then everywhere else, you know, there's hundreds of other great creators that do it in the space, and lots of them that do a lot of production value. But I think the proliferation of the first big two there has made it clear what. Maybe everything is an actual play, but what a successful actual play is when you're all like when you're making content for a visual medium. Yep. And I think finally, WotC got on board, and now they're putting their hat in a ring that is on par with, from a production value standpoint, and I would argue a cast standpoint, with the other groups.
Agreed.
So I'm very excited. I will be tuning in April 22nd, 6:30 p.m. PT, which means it's going to be late for me, but I'll do it.
I'll be on a plane, or I'll be going to sleep to be on a plane. It is now time for fake ads. Twitch chat is getting real ads for things they can buy. Don't worry, they're not going to miss anything. We're going to do fake ads for things you can't buy, starting with Matt right meow.
Hey, everyone. Matt from, oh wait, Will, take the graphic off. We're telling different thing. We're talking about, like, we're doing all other stuff. Wait, hey, listen, I'm selling you something you can't buy. But first, I do need you to enter your age into your chatbot. Not necessarily goes to me, it just goes to the corporation who owns me. That would be Matthew Kroll LLC, under Will from Extra Credits LLC, which is under an S Corp of Animated Kitchenette. Which then is obviously a shell company for Flixel Sticks, of course. But all you gotta do, listen, I'll sell you the thing. Just how old are you?
Snackin', I need you in mod chat to remind me that I have a gag for that. And I need you to put that command that you just ran in mod chat, and I will write the command for it when we're done with breakfast. I have a gag. Okay.
Hey, sell us that gag.
Hey. Did you ever want a chatbot to verify your age? Well, I'm currently thinking, and I'm spitballing, and it doesn't do this yet, but I'm thinking that I could get Brad Chatbot to verify your age by spitting out a random age between 18 and 1,000 every time someone presses !verify age, and put it out an official statement, something like, this chatbot hereby verifies that @user who just ran the command is officially X amount of time old for purposes of age verification on the internet. I feel like that's about as official as anyone putting their age in like a drop-down menu would be, and you shouldn't be giving the computer your ID. Why stop at 1,000? I need to set an upper bound or it'll do weird things, right? I need a reasonable integer. I also need to make it like fit in chat, right? So I think I can make that work. No, Dark, it randomly generated every time, which is the best part.
It should also not only give numbers.
Yeah, so some people are suggesting ASL. Chat, if you want to help with this, stick around after breakfast. I have a thing where we're going to be looking at a new shiny thing for Brad's enclosure here on Twitch, and we'll be working on some chat stuff, and I can write the command on the bot then. So stick around. We'll work on it afterwards.
We're actually doing, this might be a good time to, I'm going to sell you something that you can't buy, but actually you might be excited about because I think it's kind of neat. Hey everyone, Matt from Extra Credits with Will from Extra Credits talking about games for breakfast on Extra Credits. I'm not going to sell you anything you can buy. What I am going to do is sell you information for free, that is correct, that some changes might be coming to Games for Breakfast in the near future. And by near future, I mean months down the line. But Will and I had a very exciting meeting last Friday to discuss various visual improvements and implementations we might be able to do to this show. It's gotten me really pumped. You don't have to do a dang thing other than keep showing up and having wonderful conversations with us, but we might be adding some things to this program that make it just a little more shiny and a little more fun for everyone involved, and I can't wait for you to see it. Don't buy it!
Very excited. Okay, speaking of things that you can buy or will be able to buy tickets for at some point in the future, Bloodborne is getting a movie. And the exec producer on it is Jacksepticeye. Okay.
Listen.
All right, I'm here.
Jacksepticeye knows his Bloodborne. If there's one thing, I don't know, actually, even before this news came up, I know the name, but I've never really watched any of his stuff outside of his Bloodborne stuff.
Sure. No, he knows it. He's good on it.
I am pretty hyped for this. I'm not going to lie. I do. Look. Let's get the disappointment out of the room. We're going to be getting an animated Bloodborne movie before we get Bloodborne remastered or Bloodborne on PC or Bloodborne 2. Although there isn't, like, here's a weird reason why it might give me hope that like there's something else Bloodborne-y coming down the line, is that if Sony, because Sony's kind of holding the strings on this along with FromSoft, it would be a really good look to have this movie come out around the same time as another video game Bloodborne project. Yeah. So maybe that is a harbinger for things to come. But I am always excited when someone who has a deep appreciation for the source material gets to work on an adaptation. Jacksepticeye will be producing. The director and the writer and everything is not yet been announced. Of course, those things will change hype levels on varying, sliders as it goes. Also, while Jacksepticeye is a phenomenal YouTuber and creator, I am not sure what his producerial chops are for an animated piece of content. Producer can mean a lot of different things. I'm sure there'll be other producers as well. This does feel, in an interview or in one of his, I believe in the YouTube video that he posted that this modded thumbnail came from. This has slowly been like a maybe in the background for like 2 years. And I'm wondering if I was to guesstimate how this sort of moved forward, I bet you he was sort of maneuvering in the background to try to make this happen. And then Markiplier's Iron Lung.
Yeah.
and the success story that is. Like, I think Alana Pierce and a couple other like YouTubers that have sort of, and to be perfectly honest, Patrick Willems, a bunch of other folks, Nebula folks, like everyone's sort of moving in this direction. I think the success of Iron Lung is showing Hollywood that's like, oh, maybe YouTubers might know what they're doing when it comes to adapting either things that they love or just creative vision in general,
Right.
it depending on what it is. That's not a blanket thing. But before, as a YouTuber, it was truly impossible to break into that world, and now it seems like there are cracks and very talented people are getting through. Because I think Hollywood needs some new folks in there, you know?
I agree. I'm very excited. I'm not a huge Bloodborne person. I like the world. The world seems interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm mostly just excited to see more creators whose names I know from YouTube doing big projects that will get people excited. Very cool. All right. Are you ready for what is possibly one of the weirdest stories?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
If you go
everyone right now, go to eccothedolphin.com.
Maybe mute the tab.
No, don't mute the tab.
Okay.
It ruins it if you mute the tab.
It's very...
If you're at work, crank the volume.
Okay, great.
If you're at school, get in trouble.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Echo. It would be, let's see, can someone type it in chat? Because I don't have my window up.
ECCOthedolphin.com. Echo, Defender vs. Future. Exactly.
So this website, I believe, has been up for almost a year?
More than a year, yeah. This is the official Ecco the Dolphin website. And quietly, in the corner, there has been a countdown running. And that countdown ends this Wednesday. And I was alerted to this by Average Joe over on Blue Sky, who sent this to me last week and was like, hey, there's this really weird thing. So what this probably is the official announcement this Wednesday of all of the details about the new Ecco the Dolphin game that was announced last year, as well as a potential remake of the original Ecco the Dolphin, which would make it the first Ecco the Dolphin game to come out in 26 years. The last one came out in 2020. You are now dust in the wind. So, just an interesting little fun, weird factoid. I do love when... I love... God, this is the part of the internet that I love, is when the internet does something weird and stupid like this, right? Their marketing campaign is a timer on a website. And here we are talking about the timer on their website because it's happening, right?
Oh, sorry. For everyone whose bones aren't dust, Ecco the Dolphin was a game on the Sega Genesis that was beautifully weird and a little bit hard to figure out at first. I believe if people aren't familiar, when you boot up Ecco the Dolphin, it just throws you in the ocean and you control the titular Ecco the Dolphin. And you swim around and you see the fishes and you do whatever. But it's in like a restrained sort of side-scrolly area. And it doesn't really tell you what to do. I remember as a kid just swimming around there and be like, where's the rest of the game? And then finally a friend had to teach me that you have different things you can do, and like if you dive down and then I think accelerate, you can jump higher than usual, and you have to jump to a certain height to trigger a cutscene where some otherworldly force steals all animals out of the sea except for you, drops you back down, and your adventure begins. I remember when I first saw that as a kid, I was like, what? It felt so like a secret, even though it was probably supposed to be in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yep.
So I have a very soft spot for Ecco the Dolphin. I think it is a phenomenal game, at least the original is. Is it a metaphor for overfishing, Tyler? I don't know. The game is weird, but I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I should go back and beat it. I don't know if I've ever beaten. Yeah, Domestic. Maybe we do a stream where we try to beat Ecco the Dolphin. That could be fun. If I somehow end up finishing Returnal before Thursday, I'll do it Thursday.
Okay. Seems good.
I bet you can beat Ecco the Dolphin in 2 hours.
Yeah, probably.
If you know exactly what you're doing, like if we just like don't Like if we just strategy guide it?
Yep. All right. Everybody, get your popcorn.
Nom nom nom.
Get ready. Sit down. Matt now will give you his thoughts on the Masters of the Universe trailer. Or Masters of the Universe reveals.
Sure. So at CinemaCon this last weekend or last week, I can't remember when exactly it was, they showed 3 scenes from the new Master of the Universe movie. Okay. I'm trying something new, chat, with Street Fighter, which the trailer came out. It's pretty fun. With the Master of the Universe movie, with Mortal Kombat 2, the movie. I'm trying desperately to know that most likely they'll be bad, but still be hyped and excited to go see them anyway. Because I don't want the crushing weight of reality to rain on my parade of being excited for a thing. I don't want to lie to myself, but I still want to be happy about it. So there were 3 scenes shown. One thing that actually gets me a little bit annoyed. I believe they had a whole bunch of people on stage. They had the director Travis Knight was joined by Nicholas Glazine, which is He-Man, Camila Mendez, who is Tila. They introduced about 20 minutes of the film, and there's some minor spoilers for what's going on in the movie, but like, it's also kind of. I'm only going to talk about the first one. I believe, let's see, I just want to make sure I know who's saying this quote. Travis Knight said this. They said, quote, if you watch the Filmation cartoon, you know that every episode, Skeletor has some grand design for power. He was going to do some kind of scheme. He's going to get his ass kicked, and then he's going to promise to return next week. Lather, rinse, repeat, same thing every time. And we wondered, what would happen if he actually won? And that's essentially how we start our movie. Okay, cool. It seems like that is a novel way to do it, except
isn't that
the old 80s He-Man did the exact same thing. Premise-wise, it starts with the war is over and Skeletor's taken Grayskull, and then He-Man gets zapped back into the 80s Earth. In this one, I believe the King Randor sends like 14-year-old Adam to Earth to protect him from Skeletor, and that's why he's a fish out of water, has to find the sword and come back to Eternia to save it. But like, I didn't love that. Like, the beginning of this was like, it felt like we're doing something new.
Also, isn't that what the Kevin Smith Netflix He-Man did?
No, Kevin Smith Netflix He-Man did an interesting thing because they kind of just continued the story from the animation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a point where he's going to win, and then it ends up being spoiler.
Yeah.
You should watch that one, by the way.
It's good. It's really good.
It's pretty good.
There was a couple other scenes fighting Trapjaw, and then him and Tila going and doing some stuff, and like Skeletor taking the tower and whatever. I think this movie looks like the actual art design of the movie looks really cool. It also has Jared Leto, which is really the kiss of death for a lot of different things as Skeletor, which makes me really sad. I don't know. I stand by my wanting to be hyped about it, but I think it brings up a bigger conversation about CinemaCon and about these essentially IP grabs from our childhood that are turning into major motion pictures. And that is, I understand like the want and the hype. And I mean, they had everything there. They even had Avengers Doomsday stuff was shown there at CinemaCon. And I think I'm getting to the age where I just don't want the info. Does that make sense?
I just want to go see the movie.
I just kind of want to go see that. Like, look, you got my money. You got it. You've done it. Now, am I going to praise what you've done or drag it on the internet after the fact? That's on you. But you got my money.
Yeah.
I have my Mortal Kombat 2 IMAX opening day tickets. Red and I are going. We got it. So like, I don't know. Chat, what about you? Like, as far as games, it's a little different because the experience of playing it or watching your favorite streamer play it is different than a trailer is. But have you like sort of abandoned for films like movie news or movie trailers? Do you like going in cold? Do you like picking it up? Like, do you like getting every little tidbit you possibly can? Like, where do you land on media consumption like a television show or a movie before it comes out? I'm just curious. Meredith prefers to go in cold. Just don't want nostalgia grabs. Well, actually, Bull, while people are getting their things in, that's interesting too, because like I don't really either. He-Man, I can't tell if it is. Street Fighter feels like it's doing something actually new with the IP, bring it back to the old way it was, that in a new format. Like it's not, but like a lot of the stuff I definitely feel you. Haven't been to a cinema in over 15 years. I know I'll watch something regardless, so I'll go in cold. Let's see. Yeah, just give me the release date and shut up.
That's 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I watch trailers, but avoid everything else. If it's a thriller or suspense, I don't want to know anything. So the plot twist works. That is very true. And in fact, the latest film, we just talked about this in the podcast 2 weeks ago. The Zendaya and Robert Pattinson film, The Drama. There's a really interesting conversation to be had about the marketing of that movie based on what that movie not is about, but but real life issues that movie deals with. And without spoiling anything, there are good arguments on both sides that I think, from a pure not spoiling a large plot point of the movie standpoint, it does an excellent job. Like the trailers do an excellent job at obfuscating what's not only what the drama is, but then the style of movie that it is. It feels a bit like a rom-com. It kind of is, but also very much isn't. And then the titular drama also is something that in a lot of circles would benefit from some sort of trigger warning, but then you don't get that. Like there's a snake eating its own tail for something that is a piece of media that's meant to be a surprise like that. How do you market it? And we talked about it a lot on the only podcast about movies, if you're interested in that conversation about marketing. I just, I don't know. I think I'm getting kind of over things like CinemaCon and like, oh, we're going to show you 20 minutes of a movie. Like, come on. I just want to, I don't know. I just want to watch a movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Guys, I just want to watch The Mummy on 4K. That's really all I want to do. Is that too much?
Nope.
Is that too much to ask?
Nope, absolutely not too much to ask. I wanna do that too. I feel like it's a good thing to be done.
Yeah.
Really, honestly. Okay. Next up, we have the end of a saga. Turtle Wow has been in talks with Blizzard for a hot second. Turtle Wow, for those unfamiliar, was one of the largest third-party private WoW servers. They were taking sort of a different route, sort of starting in the same place that WoW did and branching development, making their own content and doing all kinds of stuff. We're trying to port WoW to the Unreal Engine and this, that, the other, and doing all this stuff. And Blizzard was like, hey, you know you don't own that, right? And Turtle Wow was like, nah, man, it's fine. Just let's do the thing.
Just relax, guy.
Just relax. It's a prank, bro. It's just a prank. That's making us it's just a prank. Well, now it turns out that they have reached, they have reached, the end of the line, and Turtle Wow will be shutting down very early in May. They've pushed out the rest of the content so that the people who are supporting Turtle Wow can play everything until then. But, the end of Turtle Wow is nigh. They have thrown in the towel in the face of Blizzard's cease and desists. So that wraps up that story kind of neatly with a bow. I don't think anyone should be surprised by this outcome.
No.
No. Turtle Wow being like, no, we can. It's fine. Just trust us. When they're actively taking subscribers away from Blizzard is like, you can't do that, my guy. Like,
yeah.
You can't do that. So yeah, so that's the end of that. But we addressed it way back when this like first broke, and I wanted to circle back and talk about that and say, well, it's over now. Okay. That's all I had on that.
Hey, let's move on to the BAFTA.
The BAFTAs.
Yes.
Two pieces of news out of the BAFTAs. Number one. Claire Obscure won Best Game of the BAFTAs. Amazing. No one.
Hey, everybody, won the BAFTAs.
One to BAFTA.
33 win the BAFTAs.
That's right. It is now the second game ever to sweep all 5 major Game of the Year awards after Baldur's Gate 3.
I will say the BAFTAs also had some really interesting stuff happen to them too. Like the Dispatch also tied, I believe, for how many awards it won, just different awards. Overall, I really liked the BAFTAs, while like every award show is a commercial, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Feels more prestigious than like the Game Awards, which like wears its advertising moniker as a badge of pride as opposed to a thing that they have to do. Which again, you know, different flavors for different folks. I just really think that I think even like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 won a BAFTA. Like there's a couple like things that like, I don't know. I really appreciated the breadth of the different styles of games that were brought up. I believe I think I'm trying to remember. I think Blueprints might have won some stuff there too, which best game design.
Blueprints got best game design. South of Midnight got best new IP.
Yep, and Death Stranding actually got artistic achievement, which was an interesting win over Clair Obscur. But I also am here for like, again, I like that it feels like this is a bit more of a diverse maybe voting pool or how they do the awards or however it is, and it's just nice. Yep. Also, Jennifer English won for her performance in Expedition 33. You know, one of these days I'll play that game. I own it. So there's that. Yeah, I think overall it was really, really good. There was, however, one, I believe one oopsie doodle that Will wants to talk about.
Yeah, a bit of an oopsie doodle. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2 things here. One of which is kind of a broader question that Matt brought up as we were prepping the show, and the other one is like the specific question about this game. So this story concerns the trailer for The Quiet Things. First question. Why do Game Award shows find it necessary to show trailers? Matt made the very...
Academy Awards doesn't do it.
Right. Matt made a very excellent point that we're sort of parodying the film industry with our...
Grammys doesn't do it.
Right. Grammys doesn't play...
Tony's doesn't do it.
Right. It's just games.
There are commercial slots. Like, there are commercials, like, if it's on broadcast television.
Right. And is the fact
that... Emmys doesn't do it. Sorry.
Is the fact that this isn't on broadcast television and it needs to pay for itself somehow the reason that this occurs?
Probably.
And I think the answer is probably, right? But like it is a unique difference in kind between Game Award shows specifically and award shows for every other form of media, right? Yeah. Every other artistic award show doesn't do this and games do. So it's kind of weird. So that's just sort of a thing to keep in mind. Okay. The story here is that the BAFTAs originally had said that The Quiet Things, a game by Silver Script Games, and written by Alex Jones, the founder of Silver Script Games, was going to be shown. And it got pulled due to, in their words, sensitive content, potential trigger warnings. The game is a autobiographical, extremely dark game about childhood trauma. It is art. It is capital A art. It is in that same vein as like That Dragon Cancer. Like, hey, I made art to deal with the fact that life is like not the best. And so there was back and forth with the BAFTAs about whether or not it was appropriate for the audience, and it eventually ended up getting pulled after a round of revisions, and the revisions either didn't get in time or weren't everything that the BAFTAs wanted, and it was too late to change it, so they pulled it. And so BAFTA's official response, the official statement, was, we made a compliance decision not to show a trailer of an unreleased game that contains themes that may be a trigger for some in consideration of our guests, as we were not in a position to sufficiently warn them. We fully support games that engage with difficult subjects and made the decision in relation to our event only and with the well-being of all guests as our priority. Okay. I think this is a really interesting problem. For award shows in general and for games sort of specifically, we don't have an equivalent of a Redbox trailer. Right? So, like, for those unfamiliar with film, there's a green box trailer, which is suitable for all ages, and a red box trailer that you only show before rated R movies, because you've already verified the age of everyone there, and they're down to see rated R stuff. So, like, a rated R trailer is a red box, and the all ages trailer is a green box. And there isn't an equivalent of that for games. There's just the games trailer.
Sure.
And I think that this is starting to become a thing we might need to think about. Or
I mean, here's the thing: where would a red, other than the internet, where would a red box trailer go for a game like that's in a high profile thing, right? Like, we don't really. Yeah.
No, and I think that's a really good point. I like, because I can
ban or red box, you can do either one.
Yeah.
Because the preview thing that comes up is red instead of green.
Yeah. So I think that there's, like, because I can see both sides of this. Like, number one, it makes sense that the BAFTAs would want to be aware of things that are potential triggers for people in the audience of their thing, right? Like, that's, like, if you have a certain vibe and then you're going to throw triggers related to childhood trauma just like in the middle of the show, that is not maybe the most conducive to you having the event that you want to be having, right? And, like, that is a concern. I also see the point of view that, like, it is difficult to be an event that uplifts games as a form of high art when you're also not willing to deal with all of the subjects that art deals with.
It also throws, so it's interesting because I would argue, especially, I mean, look at Expedition, look at a couple other things, but, like, BAFTA is willing to do that, but it's in the context of its awards, not its trailers. And now, listen, I was talking to Will about this, and I think we kind of came down on different sides of it, which is totally fine. I sort of came at this from having worked on it in my past, larger award shows, like when we were working on the EMAs or other stuff at Viacom and MTV. The way that clips and things for award shows go, it is very, very strange. Now, I imagine that the BAFTAs has a good production staff around it. It's large enough where it's probably huge. But to me, having seen the inside of how these shows can kind of work, this feels like essentially a lower to mid-level producing error that snowballed kind of out of control. I imagine that when they were putting this together, they wanted this game in because they liked the studio and the creator and everything, and then they got the first cut of a trailer that dealing with this game's very dark and very real childhood trauma themes. They were like, no, we can't show this. Please cut out this, this, and this. And then they went back, and the game studio sent back a second trailer, and they thought it was fine. Now, what I imagine happened, again, this is pure conjecture, but this is normally how this stuff kind of goes. Someone got that trailer back, whether or not a low to mid-level producer didn't show it to an executive producer or a showrunner, or that showrunner was shown it in a reasonable amount of time but then didn't get to it, or they didn't decide to make a decision until the absolute last minute. But somewhere down the line, production or the producing was done poorly, and communication broke down, and then probably around the 24-hour mark or something like that, they just said, no, pull the trailer, this isn't enough, even though the developer did exactly what was asked the first time. Like, this isn't just one person ping-ponging back to another person. When it comes to shows of this size, you are going through a cavalcade of people. And it feels like this was a time ran out, and there were mistakes made on the production end, and that sucks for the developer, there's no question.
Yeah.
So I don't blame the BAFTAs here, like, I don't think it's not like John C. BAFTA, like, is trying to snub art.
It's not a policy thing, but they did drop the ball on a procedural thing.
Exactly. And then the question that I'm sort of interested in is, like, well, how do we make it so, like, and truly, like, this is a award show that is supposed to elevate art. I think, for instance, if the Quiet Things comes out and it has critical acclaim and all that stuff, there'll be no problem awarding the Quiet Place awards for its game about childhood trauma. I don't think they're going to shy away from that. But also, the math and your responsibility changes when you are having people who are responsible for a piece of art walk up onto a stage and accept an award for it versus here's a complicit advertisement for a consumer audience for a product. Like, yes, it's art, but it is also at that point as a trailer, it's a product they're selling.
Yeah.
And that's a delicate balance that I think the BAFTAs is going to have to get a little bit. And to be perfectly honest, every award show that I believe wants to elevate forms of art, but they have to figure out ways to do it. Like, again, I don't know the deal behind why, like how much money was paid for this spot, or if the BAFTAs asked the creator to do it and it was a pro bono thing. Like it's all up in the air. Who knows? But I could see a world where for difficult things like that they want to elevate, perhaps, and I can't believe I'm saying this, taking a page out of the Game Awards book and doing like an expose for a couple minutes on the game in a tasteful, not a trailer, but in a tasteful like breakdown of like what the game is, what it deals with, like, you know, that sort of thing, in more of a look at how the art is being made as opposed to just throwing something that could be like that you're putting next to things that have no trigger warnings. And then you go in and you change the vibe and the flow of your show completely. Yeah. So it's a complicated problem. And I really do feel for the devs and the team for having the trailer pulled, because even if they said they'd submit a different one, oftentimes in these projects, there's just no time. Because I was saying to Will, like, even if it's a 24 or 48 hour turnaround, oftentimes producers and executive producers don't want to keep making media changes, because if you already have 3 different versions, there's always a human error chance of like, if you can't triple check it and there's a million things to do, it just sometimes it'll just be like, no, or you know what else truly could have been cut for time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levers to pull here.
Yep. I also think that it's important too that it is so strange to me how inconsistent the industry as a whole is, because I don't think anyone really batted an eye at the last Larian trailer, which was
insane,
actually unhinged. Like,
I do think though that the Game Awards has and I use this both as a compliment and an insult, has way less couth than the BAFTAs.
No, very fair, right? But like,
or chill.
Yeah, no, it is sort of wildly like, games as a whole have this interesting problem, I guess, where like, I don't know, man. 14 is still rated T for T and has had graphic on-screen body horror for years. And like all kinds of stuff that would normally get you rated R or M, like if it were the first cut, right? And like they're finally getting their rating bumped up in Japan because of the G-Pose tool, not because of any other content in the game. Like the level of inconsistency in the gaming industry about what is and is not a thing that you're willing to put in front of different audiences is bananas to me.
Yeah.
Like that is the other like part of the story that I just want to like draw attention to, is like, dudes, there was a Larian trailer and we watched like some stuff.
Yeah, the Larian trailer was insane. I was looking at that, I was like, because it's not even the game.
Right. Right. It just, anyway. So if a game about childhood trauma named The Quiet Things seems of interest to you, it has
the trailer is out. You can look at it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can check out the trailer on YouTube. It does have dark themes in it about childhood trauma. Now you've been warned, and you can go into it and watch it with that foreknowledge.
Indeedly.
Sorry, I should probably explain this. G-Pose tool is a freeform camera tool that you can use to pose characters doing emotes or combat actions and take dynamic pictures. I've got a bunch of G poses. Like if you go to my Blue Sky, my header is a G pose of my character in a
G pose creepos
in a fight arena that I took after the fight was over, right? So like it's a photo tool. Okay, let's talk about not feeling so good, Mr. Stark.
Yeah. Jumping back to movies, and I'm sorry we're doing this, but we talk about layoffs in industries all the time. Disney, in its thousands of layoffs, did a specific team very, very, very dirty. It's a smaller team, but it still checks out. Essentially, they are in attempts to streamline their operations. They have laid off essentially I want to get the name of the department right. Basically, I think it's between 13 and 16 people, but the entire award-winning visuals department team at Marvel Studios. They're basically the team that was in charge of not only designing a lot of the looks of the Marvel Cinematic Universe since Iron Man, basically, but also the team that other productions and production companies go to within the Marvel Cinematic Universe's umbrella to maintain a consistent visual look between all of the stuff.
They're the visual films. Bible team.
Yeah. And they have laid them all off with sort of the options of like coming back on a per project basis, etc. This is a huge blow, I guess, another one to the VFX industry and the way that a project like the MCU, like one of the metrics of its success. To be fair, though, there is some pushback from a lot of different places. For instance, a lot of the core design and the comic book sort of appeal of things did come from this team. And there were other elements of production that felt like they should have a bit more control, like, honestly, art direction and costuming, because a lot of times it would go through this individual VFX department because they kind of held the keys to what was going on.
And yeah, they laid off the artist that did their conference room mural in front of the conference room mural.
That's the sort of the big. There's interviews about this over. I want to say it was it on AV Club or was it on Polygon? Let's see. All three of these are in there. Yeah, it basically and now there's been interviews with folks who've been hit by this, and I believe Wesley Burt said on a Twitter post, the irony of having a one-on-one HR layoff meeting in the conference room with my Loki mural on it. Like, it sucks. And it will, because even if people are hired back on a per project basis, if you don't have,
that's not stability.
It's not stability. You're going to have to start from scratch. Things are going to take longer to get any sort, like, I think, maybe I'm old man yelling at cloud here, but I do feel like a lot of times after these sort of things, even before them in certain situations, there are elements in some of the earlier MCU films from a graphics design or visual effects standpoint that look better than the later Marvel films. And that you could cut that down to how many VFX shots have probably like tripled since that, of like including them, etc. But like, I think it has to do with a small team being stretched very thin, and then like hiring out a ton of very, very, very large teams also being stretched very thin. And now the team that was sort of managing those teams is now going to itself be a for hire basis. And it's going to not only slow everything down, but it's going to make consistency and design, in my opinion, worse. There's a lot of interviews on the Polygon. We have basically 3 links in the show notes, both from AV Club, Forbes, and Polygon. If you're interested in this story, I urge you to check it out, especially the Polygon one, because it interviews a couple people who were affected. And just another garbage thing that will make movies worse, in my opinion, and also more expensive and take longer to make and have a lot more problems in the interim. And it'll be yay.
Yeah. Just bums me out. Like, I think a lot of people were like, man, I wanted the MCU to make a comeback. And like, I think I burned out on the MCU a long time ago, but like, this sucks, right? Like there's no good spin for this. Like, how much money did you actually save shaving 16 jobs versus how much is this going to screw up the future of one of your flagship franchises? Like, I don't understand.
It's not even the math is kind of crazy because, like, even if you think like the Marvel and the MCU is as a cinematic machine is far larger than anything I've ever remotely touched. But you're right, Will. Like, not only does it seem like 16 people's salaries in the grand scheme of the MCU is nothing, but there's no way in a production if you cut a general team that like has institutional knowledge about how things function and then just expect the rest of the corresponding teams to like pick up the slack or hire outsiders or do something else. There's no way that, in my opinion, costs and the problems that will stem from that cost less money than paying these people to do their jobs. And listen, there could be other reasons, but this whole, again, you never know because there's corpo speak and there's like, oh, streamlining. And you're like, get bent, man. Like it's. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Deep breath. Good news. Little. This is my little. I'm gonna geek out for a second.
What is that?
Okay, great. I'm so glad you asked. So, we had the live letter on Friday for patch 7.5 of Final Fantasy XIV, and we got a whole bunch of information about the main story and the new Alliance raid, and a whole bunch of other stuff that isn't super relevant to anyone who doesn't play 14. And there will be no spoilers for current content, I promise. We got this picture.
Who is that?
That's Kefka.
Somehow Kefka's returned? Get Oscar Isaac in here. And deliver the line better.
I'm incredibly hyped for this because this is two things. One, this is a pattern break. So this is likely a picture representing the new Ultimate Raid, which will be coming out in 7.5 a couple weeks after release. That's weird because Kefka is part of the Omega Alliance raids or Omega Normal Raid series from Stormblood, which already has an Ultimate Raid for Omega, the Omega Protocol top. So this is weird because they've never done two Ultimate Raids from the same raid series before. And this is cutting new territory for them, which is good because 14 needs to innovate more and needs to get out of its comfy little cocoon of sameness every patch. Also, Kefka. Kefka is, if you've never played Final Fantasy VI, Kefka is among the most terrifying, deeply unhinged, fourth wall breaking, believes he is God Final Fantasy characters they've ever done because he is truly like lacks empathy, just is completely unhinged. And I can't wait to see how that manifests in a video game. Like, because he gets a fight. He's got a fight in Omega, and it's already regarded as a very good fight. And this will be another Kefka fight, and I'm very excited for it. Yeah. Kefka accomplished things. Horror? Yeah. Yeah, Kefka is the villain Sephiroth wished he could be. Yes. Kefka is among the best Final Fantasy villains, so I'm super excited for that. Also, just as a note, 7.5 looks like it's going to be one of the best patches ever for Final Fantasy. We've got a new class coming out. It's called Beastmaster. It is a solo class in an MMO. You go around, you collect beasts, kind of like Pokemon. You wear them down, you capture them, and then they will fight alongside you, and you essentially have a brew your own rotation thing, kind of like Blue Mage, but it's got a solo roguelike dungeon, so if you need me after that comes out, you'll know where to find me. I'll be there doing that. Because Final Fantasy XIV and roguelike are like the two halves of my gaming existence, and they made my Blorbo's kiss. So that's kind of a thing there. But also just the level of quality of life stuff we're getting is huge. So I'm very excited about this, and I'm very excited to see more Kefka, and I'm just very excited for patch 7.5. Very cool.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, everybody, I believe that brings us to the near end of this week's Games for Breakfast. Thank you so much for joining us for all of these discussions. I have a request. I will remind the request about sending me any information you have about the Returnal glitch over on Blue Sky. Please do that. That would be very lovely. That's where I will be able to see it. My Returnal bounty and any information that helps me get that platinum. That if you are the person who gives me that information, I will make sure a Zoe plushie gets to your door free of charge. The other thing I want to ask, based on our original story and what the thumbnail is of this thing, we had so much fun coming up with the silly ways that you could age verify things, and how even though they were ridiculous, they're about as effective as what that act is trying to get across the door. If you could do me a solid, me and Will a solid, take your favorite one of those that you wrote, and you can even label it like how I'd like to age verify, and then type that in. Put it in the comment on the YouTube VOD of this. I want a record that is easy to see of all of those awesome ideas. I know it's a little bit of a pain, and you might have to scroll back and figure out what you said, but I think it is, I want to be able to refer to this in an easy place, because not only is it hilarious and you are all very, very funny, it illustrates a very important point about that story. So if you could do me one of two solids, I would appreciate that one, because I feel like it's very telling for what this show was about.
Yeah.
I would be very much appreciated. I think that does bring us to the end of the show, outside of doing the traditional Games for Breakfast sign-off that is always the same every time. You all know it. I won't say you all love it, but you understand it. You understand why we do it, because on a Monday morning to afternoon, we want to foster a sense of community and have everyone do an action to go into the rest of the week with positivity and joy, to make sure that we're all on the same page, doing something that we can all do at our computers, whether you're with a loved one actually right next to you or in a virtual kitchenette with one of your wonderful friends. That way we all feel like we're part of the Games for Breakfast family. So, Will, anything else to add before I take us away with our traditional sign-off?
Remember, if you want to come hang out and help you write silly gags for the bot, or check out new enrichment for Brad's Enclosure, come join us on Twitch right after this.
That's right. So, please join me, as always, in our traditional goodbye for Games for Breakfast, specifically how Ecco the Dolphin would say it.